Queens and Flushing in particular is a kind of a magic place.
It's wonderful that the Quakers stood up because now there's a lot of diversity over here.
They literally took their lives in their hands to be advocates for religious freedom.
That struggle really created this environment of peaceful coexistence that I think is part of the DNA of this town.
This is Northern Boulevard, the heart of Flushing, Queens. It's one of the most diverse places on Earth, and that makes sense. Historians say you can trace the tolerance enshrined in the U.S. Constitution literally to this block, a tolerance that's been welcoming newcomers for centuries.
We've been here for over 20-something years. I've been working in this store. My father brought me in this store since I was 7 years old.
Ahmed Farhat, his father, and his cousin Samir work together in their family restaurant.
We came to the United States because that's when the Soviet Union tried to take over Afghanistan, and all my family fled.
So it was fighting going on, and there was no place safe.
When everybody come to America, and it's tough. The first time no speak English or something, that time is hard for me.
He worked for 2 years, 2 jobs, 3 jobs, to bring his other family, his parents and his brothers here.
I'm very happy of today, thankful. My family came to America.
Northern Boulevard is actually really long. It starts at the Queensboro Bridge and it ends like 25 miles later in Nassau County. It's a stretch of State Road 25A. The part we're talking about is old. It's been the center of Flushing since Flushing was its own town long before the 5 boroughs fused back in 1898. It's been a bustling business district, and that's what it is now, except the signs and names are in Chinese or Korean or Italian, to name a few. Multiple languages are spoken.
They ordered the dos pollos con papa, por aquí, para allá. Okay. Give me 2 boxed rice.
Generally, the common tongue is live and let live. And that attitude has its roots in a letter a group of residents wrote in 1657. It was to the governor of the Dutch company controlling the area. The letter vigorously defended local Quakers, a religious minority the governor was persecuting.
Peter Stuyvesant, a very heavy-handed governor of the New Netherlands colony, felt that the influx of religious minorities was a threat to the colony. So he issued an edict to ban Quakers from coming into the colony and prohibiting anyone from welcoming them into their homes. And the people in Flushing rose up in resistance.
They issued a document that said, this is wrong. We believe that any of God's children are welcome here.
The letter became known as the Flushing Remonstrance. Stuyvesant threw some of the signers in jail, but the pressure it sparked eventually prompted Dutch authorities to have Stuyvesant back down.
The signing of the Flushing Remonstrance was certainly the most important thing that happened in Flushing, probably the most important thing that happened in New York City, and is likely the forerunner of the amendment to the Constitution promising freedom of religion. There's a picture of the Flushing Remonstrance, and this was the site of where it was signed.
An armory built on the site is now a police department facility. Across the street, Flushing Town Hall. It historically housed the government of the town of Flushing. For 40 years, it's been a cultural center.
We continue that legacy of inclusiveness here at Flushing Town Hall. We have this beautiful city-owned building in which you can welcome people from all around the globe for incredible arts and cultural programs. About a third of our programming at Flushing Town Hall reflects our immediate neighborhood. There is a very rich and vibrant Asian community. People from mainland China, people from Taiwan, from Hong Kong, from Singapore, from Korea.
During Lunar New Year, immigrants from those countries, their descendants, and New Yorkers of all backgrounds literally take to the streets.
I'm outfitted today as the Empress of the Universe. We're just really continuing that stand that this community took for religious freedom hundreds and hundreds of years ago.
45 years ago, there was another event in Flushing, and that helped shape its current demographics.
This is the 1964-65 World's Fair.
Future historians will fix the New York Fair of 1964-1965 as the dividing line between the shrinking globe and the expanding universe.
Who came? Our political allies in Asia, Taiwan, South Korea, and Japan.
Many were able to stay in Flushing after President Lyndon Johnson signed the Immigration and Nationality Act of 1965. It ended a policy which previously favored Europeans and restricted Asian immigration. Families settled, inviting others from their home countries to live in the neighborhood. The change in demographics triggered pushback. In 1996, local councilwoman Julia Harrison said the newcomers were, quote, more like colonizers than immigrants. Activists like John Cho fought back.
I felt that an elected official had no rights to scapegoat her constituents, so I became involved in getting more people involved in the community, in politics.
Different tensions persist. Cho funnels his activism through dialogue. He hosts a monthly interfaith gathering at the Quaker Meeting House over bagels and coffee.
We benefit, many of us do, in different ways from our privileges in this racial hierarchy. And so how do we each, as faith leaders and as people who are part of our own faith, help people sacrifice their privilege?
That was my central question.
For Ellen Kodadak, it was her family's own experiences with one of history's deadliest examples of division and prejudice that inspired her to unite people through the arts.
Most of my relatives were killed in the concentration camps. So since I was a little girl, because there were so few people, relatives around us, and I really got to see the fear that people have of one another that causes them often to do really dreadful things. If you can create opportunities for people to talk to each other, to figure out what their issues are, what their concerns are, what makes them happy, what makes them sad, that's how you bring people together.
At the town hall, Kodadak brings Flushing residents together twice a month for global mashups. They're jam sessions between bands from two different cultures and musical traditions.
We're bringing together Western swing and cowboy ditties and Balkan and Russian gypsy music. So we don't know what's going to happen, but we know it's going to be awesome. Here we are welcoming these artists and musicians, and we're all going to dance together and sing together and play together and really have a great time together. This is a community where people welcome one another and people respect one another. And so we really feel like it's in the DNA of the neighborhood.
We work with anyone who wants to do business with us and do it with integrity and honesty and openness.
All different ethnic people come here. Everybody's coming from different religions together and bringing peace and loving one another.
There's a lot of churches, temples, mosques over here. Everything has changed.
And in an ever-changing neighborhood, there's generally been another constant for 4 centuries: tolerance of the other.
I think Queens, Flushing is one of the greatest places to live.